Welcome to the deep dive. Today we've got this huge stack of sources in front of us, and they're not just about horsepower and torque. They're about chrome, character, and really cinematic soul.
Yeah, we've been looking at all these analyses of legendary movie vehicles, and the one thing they all seem to argue is that the really iconic cars, they aren't just props.
Not just cool set dressing.
Exactly. They're vital narrative engines. They end up shaping the hero's identity, defining the whole film's aesthetic, and in some cases, they are the plot.
And that's really the mission of this deep dive, isn't it? To figure out why these specific cars, like down to the exact model and paint job, are so unforgettable.
How they communicate so much before an actor even says a word.
We want to find out how they move beyond just being transportation.
Right. And the nugget of insight we kept finding is that these cars, they transport the story, not just the characters. And sometimes those stories are extremely dark.
So let's start with one of those, a vehicle that embodies that darkness, that sort of toxic obsession. I think we have to begin with Christine.
The 1958 Plymouth Fury. From Stephen King and, of course, John Carpenter.
It's the ultimate predatory machine, isn't it?
It really is. I mean, so many movie cars are about freedom or rebellion, but Christine, she is all about possession, complete and total.
And the choice of car, the 58 Plymouth Fury, it's so brilliant.
It is, because it wasn't, the flashiest muscle car. It was a pretty modest, kind of mid-range family car.
Which makes the whole thing even more chilling, because when Arnie first finds her, she's just a wreck. Rusted out, forgotten.
But even then, the sources all describe her as this sort of coiled threat. Like she's promising something addictive, but also really, really dangerous.
She's not just evil. She's a supremely toxic relationship waiting to happen.
Absolutely. A seductress, a supernatural force that knows exactly what this bullied kid Arnie needs. She gives him power, confidence.
But the price is everything, his whole identity.
And that's what's so crucial, the restoration process. As he's fixing her, polishing that blood red paint, she's fixing him, giving him the swagger.
But it's a zero-sum game. The more perfect she becomes, the more of him just disappears.
It's the visual language that makes it so unforgettable. I mean, Carpenter knew exactly how to shoot her. You read about the light, the sound.
The jealousy in her headlights?
Yes, and the chilling patience she has when she's stalking someone, seeming to drive herself. But the scene that everyone remembers is the self-repair.
Oh, that scene. It's not a car anymore, it's a living thing. The way the crushed metal just folds back into place.
It's this act of impossible, rage-filled defiance that cemented it. The car isn't just in the story, it is the story. It's demanding control.
So, from a machine that possesses its owner, let's pivot. Let's talk about cars that are just pure extensions of the hero's DNA.
Grit, resourcefulness, attitude.
And you have to start with the Bullitt Mustang.
The 1968 Ford Mustang GT Fastback. Yeah, this is kind of the pinnacle of the machine as character. Unlike Christine, which screams for attention, the Mustang is all about restraint.
Total cool efficiency. The sources point out all these specific choices. Like, the color wasn't flashy red, it was Highland Green. Almost a military color.
And they stripped it down, deliberately. No spoilers, no flashy chrome. They even took the running horse badge off the grille.
Doesn't pose, it hunts.
And that tells you everything you need to know about Frank Bullitt. He's practical, no-nonsense, authentic. It's a tool for a job.
And then there's the chase. I mean, it became the blueprint for everything.
For everything. And what's incredible is the sound. They barely used any music in that 10-minute sequence.
Right. It's just the raw sound of that V8, the tires screaming, the downshifts. You hear every decision he makes.
The car is his heartbeat under pressure. Every gear change is a challenge. It's all kinetic communication. Pure, raw realism.
Okay, so if the Mustang is sleek, efficient, explosive power, we have to talk about its total opposite on the coolness spectrum.
The beautiful, chaotic mess that is the Ecto-1.
From Ghostbusters, the 1959 Cadillac Miller Meteor ambulance.
And here's a fascinating detail about that model. The Miller Meteor was designed for a dual purpose.
What?
It was built to function as both an ambulance and a hearse.
Wait, really? No way. An ambulance and a hearse?
Yep. Which makes it kind of the perfect vehicle for a team that deals with, the transition from life to whatever comes next. It's already in the business of death.
That's incredible. But visually, it's just this perfect mess. The paint's flaking, it's huge, it's clumsy.
And that's the whole key to it. That aesthetic immediately tells you who the Ghostbusters are. They're brilliant, sure, but they're also chaotic, underfunded, and just flying by the seat of their pants.
Science fiction meets junkyard chic.
And you can't talk about the Ecto-1 without the sound, that wailing siren, that high-pitched
Yep,
E-oo-o,
and
a Liberty
it's
Boogies.
just instantly recognizable. It's the sound of them barreling through New York to solve a problem nobody else can touch.
It is the ultimate anti-Bullitt. The Mustang is about precision. The Ecto-1 is about loud, beat-up, lovable imperfection.
And the fact that it's so imperfect makes it incredibly relatable.
Exactly. It's proof that heroes often use tools that are just patched together with duct tape and hope.
You know, that idea of imperfect tools driving huge change is the perfect way to get into our last category.
The ultimate catalysts, the machines that literally drive destiny.
And there's no better example than time travel vehicles. They force characters to confront everything. Past mistakes, family history, all of it.
You can probably start with the original, the philosophical one, H.G. Wells' Time Machine.
Right, from 1895, all brass and levers, an intellectual device. It pushed the plot thousands of years forward just so the story could look back at humanity.
And then you have the DeLorean.
Ah, the DeLorean.
If Wells invented the concept, the DeLorean in Back to the Future made it cool and intensely personal. The sources all say it's not just transport, it's a stainless steel pressure cooker.
It really is. It forces Marty to confront his parents' past, his own fears. That car is the engine of his entire transformation.
And the mechanics of it are so important. The fact that he needs exactly 1.21 gigawatts, that he has to hit 88 miles per hour.
Right, it's difficult. It's stressful.
Which emphasizes how anxious and impossible trying to change the past really is. You can't change the past without fundamentally changing yourself.
And then, of course, you have its chaotic cousin, the hot tub time machine.
Which is just a jacuzzi full of bad decisions, weaponizing nostalgia to force these guys to relive their youth.
But maybe the most profound example of a vehicle as an emotional catalyst, not a temporal one, is the Ferrari in Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
The 1961 250 GT California Spyder. This is where the analyses get really deep.
The car is just this object of pure desire. It's freedom, risk, wealth. I think only, 55 of that model were ever made?
And that perfection is the whole point. For Cameron Fry, the anxious friend, this car is a sacred, untouchable artifact. It belongs to his terrifying father.
So it represents everything he thinks he doesn't deserve. Joy, risk, a life without fear.
And it catalyzes every single major emotional moment in the film. The joyride is exhilarating, but then comes the gut-wrenching dread when they see the mileage.
The anxiety the car holds over Cameron is just a stand-in for the anxiety his father holds over him.
Which brings us to that climax, the destruction of the Ferrari.
That plunge through the glass. The sources say it hits harder than any action movie car crash because it's not about the stunt. It's pure character revelation.
It's not just a beautiful machine being broken.
No, it's Cameron breaking free. He finally shatters the symbol of his father's control. Its destruction forces him to finally face the consequences.
And in doing so, find his own freedom. The car had to die for him to live. An emotional catalyst in the most literal sense.
So we've covered the car as a possessive monster, the car as an extension of personality, and the car as a machine that forces confrontation. It's clear they really do carry the soul of the film.
And if you look across all of them, the thread is that the most iconic ones, they aren't defined by being pristine. They're defined by their flaws, their damage, or their destruction.
Christine's bloodlust, the Ecto-1's flaking paint, the end of the Ferrari, those things are what make them unforgettable.
They matter because they force a confrontation. With obsession, with destiny, with regret.
Which brings us to our final thought for you to chew on. We learned that the cars that achieve this kind of immortality are often the imperfect, damaged ones.
And what's fascinating is that the perfect machine-like Wells time machine, or that flawless Ferrari before it crashed, it often only serves to highlight human imperfection and anxiety.
So if we connect that to the bigger picture, how does that visible imperfection in a tool or a symbol so often make it more relatable, more powerful in the long run?
Why are we more drawn to the beautifully broken things than we are to any gleaming, untouchable piece of perfection? Something to think about.